Hello YouTube and welcome to Jet Ski update number 10. In this video I'm going to be using my milling machine to bore out my cylinders. Due to time restraints, I'm not going to show all of the issues that I had while trying to bore out this cylinder and trying to hone it out. I did record the full process of boring out the second cylinder, and I had to make a tool to try to get rid of some of the chatter marks. If you guys want to see that footage, I'll be happy to post it, but I won't post it as part of this series just because it will be very long and very boring. Anyway, with that being said, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jet ski world, that FedEx truck means that I have jet ski parts waiting for me. I ordered these parts from SBT just a couple of days ago, and even though we're in the middle of this pandemic, they showed up quite promptly. I'm very surprised. So I'm excited to see what's in here because honestly, I have such a bad memory, I don't even remember what I ordered from SBT. I got 1mm oversized pistons, 2 of them. I got the missing Jacob Jet Ski Brother part, the collar for my crankshaft, and I got the bearings, seals, and O-rings for my, what is this for? For the jet pump. I'm still waiting for a few parts. I've got crank bearings and a gasket kit coming from WSM, as well as a few other little goodies. It is time to bore out my cylinders. I got new pistons today. We got some SBT pistons, 1mm over, which makes them 77mm. Got a new wrist pin, some circlips, and the piston rings are in the box. And here's our shiny new piston. Beautiful. So now for the hardest part of this job, it's going to be setting up the cylinder in my mill. I don't have an actual boring machine, so I'm going to be using a boring head in my mill. It just barely reaches far enough, and yeah, it's kind of sketchy what I'm doing. I would recommend you just pay somebody else to do your cylinders. I'm kind of just winging this because I don't have the proper tools. So I took the arm off of my mag base for my dial indicator. So basically I turned the end of my dial indicator base arm, whatever, down so that it fits in a 7/16 R8 collet. Alright, because I'm using a little bit of a hokey mill, does a lot of fooling around to actually get it set up. So I'm not sure how much of this footage I'll actually show, but I figure, yeah, I'll at least try to do some. It's already got the boring bar in it. There we go. I need to raise this up so that it's about level with the top here. I want to just barely have clearance here because if I don't, I won't be able to bore all the way to the bottom of the cylinder bore. So I'll put this here, turn it down. So we got about 40 thousandths clearance there, which should be good. Now I will tighten these up. One of the things that sucks about a column mill, that's what this is because it has a round column. Now that it's locked in place, I can't fuss with the height of the head or the tilt of it because if I do, I will lose my indexing. I basically won't be able to get it back to the 0 point. So once I have this all set up, I have to do all of the steps without moving the head around, which can be a bit of a pain. It hits the stop before it hits the deck. It does almost the full depth, but not quite. So I'm just going to work with what I have and hope for the best. Okay, so as I was saying, I have a column mill, and because I can't raise or lower the head, that means that I need to remove the boring head without lowering it. So I need to raise the cover and try to get in there. Bit of a pain in the butt. There's hardly enough room to swing a hammer to release the drawbar. Oh, I got it. All right, that's now locked down. It's not going anywhere. So it took me about 10 minutes to set this up, but I finally got it so that it's less than a thousandths out. So now I'm going to pop the boring head back in and we're going to start cutting. All right, before I forget, before I bump anything, I'm going to lock the table down real tight. And then I'm actually going to remove this handle so that I don't bump into it. I'm also going to turn off the power feed so I don't bump this and move it. I do not have a power feed set up on this mill, so what I need to do is turn this knob, which engages the micro feed or the accurate feed, don't know what you call this, but Alright, the scratch pass is done. I have already bored this out. Before I got the pistons, I went fairly close to size. And then I was going to do the finishing cut when I got the pistons. Unfortunately, it took me a lot longer to get the pistons than I thought it would, so I ended up having to use the mill, so I ended up taking the cylinder out, and now I've had to set it up again. I'm kind of nervous because I'm getting close to the final dimension and I'm still not touching all the way around, but yeah, I'm just going to do what I can. I didn't bother shooting video of the whole thing. Boring is quite boring. I will also be boring this one out start to finish. So if you guys want to see all of the footage from that, then let me know in the comments and I will post that up for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to check this with the snap gauge. Okay, so that pass that I just did took 1/1000th. My final dimension needs to be about 37. And I want to do the last 2/1000ths with a hone, so I should stop now and do the rest with the hone. Now I can make it so that the hones actually come out through the bottom but don't touch the table. It is the next day. I am on the final session of honing and I'm going to run the hone through for about 10 minutes. So that's what you guys are about to see. Stop. Here's a 4 thou. Still fairly snug. 5 thou goes in, but it's really tight. We're going to call that good. And get on to boring out the next one. Alright YouTube, here's the end result of the boring and honing. As you can see, it turned out pretty well. Not perfect by any means. I definitely would not recommend that you guys try this if you have a mill. This is something that's best suited for a specialty machine. Now that the boring and honing is all taken care of, I am going to clean up the top and bottom surface on the cylinder and then finish chamfering the ports, all those little tedious things that you have to do, and then I guess we start building an engine. Well, that's going to do it for jet ski update number 10. In my next video I'm probably either going to be rebuilding the pump or removing some material from the top and bottom of the cylinder. The surfaces aren't perfect and I want to make sure that they're really nice so that I have a good gasket surface. I just received some Permatex gasket maker. It is the anaerobic type, which I quite enjoy, and also these carbon fiber tubes. I won't say what I plan on doing with these, but if you want to see that, be sure to stick around. That's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.